Cheers traders! Welcome aboard Marston Lads of Meta Mayhem. I recently ran into this beautiful PvP hundo Weezing and I just couldn't resist the temptation to power it up and start experimenting in the Great League. I actually managed to win quite a lot of matches between ranks 6 to 8 using Weezing as my safe switch, but before heading into the video footage of those matches, let's just briefly go through what Weezing is all about. Here you can see the overview of Weezing on GamePress site, which is an excellent site. I highly recommend it to anyone interested in Pokémon GO and PvP. So here we can see that Weezing doesn't really make it in any of the leagues. It has a decent defense stat though, which is always a positive in PvP. What makes Weezing so interesting, at least in my opinion, is going to be its move pool. Well, basically all of its fast moves, they just suck, but the charge moves, there it has some swag going for it. Sludge Bomb is obviously a hard-hitting move with the same type attack bonus, and then in addition to that you can run either Shadow Ball, which hits Psychic and Ghost type Pokemon for super effective damage, or you could opt for Thunderbolt, which is good for water and flying. I chose the combination of Thunderbolt and Shadow Ball on my Weezing, which means that there shouldn't be anything out there in the field it couldn't hit for at least neutral damage. Except for Shiftry, but that little Pinocchio will get its fair share of double super effective damage in fast move infestation, so let's head for the battles and see how my Weezing performs. For the first match, I'm pairing Weezing with Meganium and Alolan Raticate, another spice pick. Let's see how this team performs. My Meganium faces off with Altaria. Gotta get out of there fast, pretty much the worst case scenario. And now it's time for my boy, the gas ball, Weezing, to shine. Here comes a surprise Shadow Ball, doing a lot of damage to Altaria, and Weezing charges up so quickly. There's another Shadow Ball coming already before Altaria has gotten to even the first charge attack. And now there's one coming. I think Weezing has done its job. And what? Dazzling Gleam? Well, I can have that. And then it's time for Alolan Raticate to come in and do some neutral damage. It charges up to that crunch faster than Altaria can get to its charge moves. Crunch! And now, because of that Dazzling Gleam, I just have to shield. Probably would have shielded anyway. Sky Attack. Yeah, and then my crunch is gonna take care of Altaria. And now my opponent has used all his shields. I have one shield to go. Registeel, not good. Instant switch. And now I'm running for that Earthquake. But he pulls off a nicely timed switch. And there's a Moltres coming in. Haven't seen that around in Great League previously. I don't know why I hit it with Frenzy Plant. I guess I just kinda panicked. And Ancient Power, yeah. Bye-bye Meganium. Now I get a little bit energy for Alolan Raticate. And then this is not looking good for me. I have to use my last shield and then I'm running for back-to-back crunches. But that Registeel has got some bulk and so much HP still left that there's nothing much I can do, I guess. The first crunch and then I fail miserably with the back-to-back. And let's see how much this does. Not even close. Not even close. And now it's time for Registeel to shoot my Dark Rat into the orbit with that flash cannon. And no luck for Weezing and my team in the first round. For the second round we'll be increasing the random factor even more, bringing in Electabuzz and Lugia to accompany my Weezing. Let's see how this composition works out. At least, once again, it doesn't start well. I need to do an instant switch to get out of the reach of that Mudboy Wishcast, and my only Pokemon not super weak to Wishcast is Lugia, so I decide to invest my shields here to try to keep Lugia alive to face off that Wishcast later on in the game. And now I'm just bombarding Azumarill with my Sky Attacks. And surprisingly, my opponent lets them go through. And here I decide to invest my last shield to keep Lugia alive, and then bring in my Weezing, the magical gas ball, and let's see, there's a surprise line for that Steel Bird. Thunderbolt does a lot of damage, and I don't have any shields, but Weezing can tank one sky attack and get to one more Thunderbolt, so this is probably gonna draw the shield from my opponent. Yes, indeed it does. And now I'm definitely gonna bring in Electabuzz to give some electrocution to that Steel Bird. I get to my Thunder Punch before Skarmory gets to its charge attack, and then my opponent uses his other shield to keep that Skarmory alive. And now, Lugia versus Whiscash. I'm afraid of that Blizzard, but it can't be this fast. I'm not sure what's happening. My opponent maybe panicked and opted in for that Mud Bomb. And now my Sky Attack is gonna take care of Whiscash. And then there's that Skarmory. There was Azumarill alive, alright, yeah. And the Skarmory coming back in. There's a charged attack, fully loaded Sky Attack, but my tanky Psychic Bird survives it and gets to finish off this match with Sky Attack. Ooh yeah! Okie dokie, let's see what we got next. That team is not looking very good, but it's what the recommendation gave me, so that's what I'm gonna go with. Let's see what happens. My Ice Fang Drapion starts off with Skarmory. It's a decent matchup, I don't have to rush into anything, so I'm blocking the first Sky Attack because Drapion does not like to take in any damage, and get a shield with my Agua Tail bait. That's good, and next I'm gonna go straight for that Crunch. Let's see how much does it take. Skarmory survives it, so I'm gonna make a switch. I don't know why exactly. I could have maybe used my second shield and take the switch advantage instead, but I wanna give my Gas Ball Weezing a spin in the battlefield. And that Shadow Ball does virtually nothing to that wall-faced ugly dinosaur, and at this point, well, I could just fast forward to the end of the match. You know how this is gonna end. At least, luckily, that Dragon Breath is gonna do some decent damage to that Bastiodon, and I guess I'm gonna try to time my switch to get the super attack with Drapion, which I do, although the switch wasn't perfectly timed. Flash Cannon, okay. And oh yeah, Medicham. Well, at least I gave it my best shot. Come on, Team Weezing, we can do this! Let's get some Toxic Cup vibes with Steelix and my favorite Angry Beaver, Bibarel, coming into this match alongside Weezing and not Whiscash again. It's super effective to two of my team members, so here I'm dancing on thin ice once again. I'm eating a Mud Bomb with my Bibarel, and then my opponent brings in Venusaur to perfectly counter my Water Beaver, but luckily for me, my opponent decides to waste all his energy on what's left of Bibarel with that Frenzy Plant. And now my favorite gas tank, Weezing, gets its time to shine on the spotlight. Frenzy Plant, that can be eaten easily, and now a Shadow Ball. Nobody expects anything from Weezing, nobody's shielding anything, so I get to surprise that Venusaur. And another Shadow Ball is gonna eat half of Melmetal, and then I time my switch perfectly, take that Rock Slide with Steelix, which does virtually no damage. And then I have to figure out a plan how to handle this Whiscash. So I'm hoping for a shield with my Crunch, and then I'm rushing to that Earthquake. I still have my two shields fresh, ready to be used, so I'm investing them here naturally. I can get to that Earthquake using two shields, and that's easily gonna take care of Whiscash. And now there's Melmetal coming in, and I was afraid it's gonna get to its charge move faster than my Steelix, so I made a switch here, And now I should be able to get that crunch, which I do. Yes, so this is gonna take care of Melmetal and win me the game. Whew! Quite a nail biter. So, 2 wins out of 4 matches currently, and let's pair up Weezing with yet again some new fresh mons and see how this team performs. Whiscash runs into Hypno. I guess it's quite an interesting matchup. I think I should have went for the Blizzard. Why didn't I go for the Blizzard? Why? Well, at least Mud Bombs do neutral damage as well. I shield the Shadow Ball, naturally it would do a lot of damage. And I'm bombarding Hypno with these Mud Bombs, and I think at least here I'm gonna draw the first shield. And now I don't like shielding with so little health left, but I'm trying to hang on to my switch advantage, or at least burn all my opponent's shields. So he opts for the shield advantage and brings in Deoxys to farm some energy out of Whiscash. And now I bring in my Raichu, which resists those counters, but not this Rock Slide. And if this Wild Charge goes through, it's gonna do quite a bit of damage, which it does. And I think I could have tried to time that switch better. Now Weezing, look at that tank, it takes the Rock Slide in the face and that ancient dinosaur once again is not gonna bode well for me and my team. Poor boy Whiscash is shooting some Shadow Balls in vain, at least manages to draw the last shield before getting burned bad by a flamethrower. And this Wild Charge, let's see how much it does. How close do I get? Close but no cigar. Close but no cigar. Too bad I wasted my Whiscash on that lead matchup with Hypno. Would have really needed it in order to do something to Bastiodon. Now Marston lad angry. Marston lad bring meta Pokemon to win game. This time I'm coming in with a more solid team composition and finally get a lead I can dominate with my Meganium against that Azumarill. My opponent decides to stay in this matchup for some reason. I don't know why, maybe because of that Ice Beam. I could have tanked one Ice Beam, but I decided to use my shields to keep this Meganium good and healthy for whatever my opponent has in the bag for the rest of the match. So I'm using both of my shields here as well. And then slaughtering that Azumarill with the Frenzy Plant. Let's see what my opponent has. Clefable. That is also gonna have a taste of this devastating Frenzy Plant, which almost one-hit KOs it. And then I'm changing in the star of this video, the Gas Bomb, Weezing to eat this Meteor Mash, no trouble. And just farming Clefable down, and there's my nemesis once again, but this time I am prepared and ready to take my sweet, sweet revenge on that ugly dinosaur. Swampert is coming in, shooting some hydro cannons, and there's absolutely nothing to worry about the charge attacks of Bastiodon, so this game is gonna go to Team Weezing! All good things must come to an end, and so unfolds the final chapter of my adventures with Weezing. This is gonna be quite a match, check it out. I lead with my Ember McCargo into that Altaria, and since my opponent doesn't change fearing that rock throw, I have to react, and now it's just party in the slaughterhouse. These dragons are tearing each other into pieces. Azumarill, I'm gonna try a surprise ambush with my return, and it connects and eats almost the half of health from Azumarill straight away. I'm gonna let this Ice Beam go through and bring Weezing to the dance floor. I can eat one Ice Beam, no doubt, and I have a Thunderbolt charged up already. Let's see, my opponent shields it, and I should be able to get to the next Thunderbolt before my opponent gets to Ice Beam, which I do. So this is either gonna draw a shield or this time take care of Azumarill. And now there's only Meganium left from my opponent. I still have one shield. I'm gonna use it here on my Magcargo and shoot some fireballs. And try to hit with this overheat. Don't know why, I think Stone Edge would have been enough, but luckily my opponent decides to hit with that Frenzy Plant straight away. So I get my star of this video, Weezing, end up this final match with a Shadow Ball. Oh yeah! So, what's my final verdict on Weezing? Well, I really would have wanted it to shine, but frankly, it doesn't. It just seems to be the kind of Pokemon that loses most of the matchups either narrowly or then heavily. And it doesn't really have any key victories against the relevant meta Pokemon in Great League. Although it can surprise maybe Medicham or Deoxys with a Shadow Ball, or then, let's say, Skarmory or Azumarill with a Thunderbolt, but even in those cases it just lacks the power to wipe them off the table completely. So it's a surprise, but then Weezing gets KO'd, so not much you can do. Infestation just doesn't do any damage, so that doesn't help Weezing out even a bit. I also gave the Gas Ball a spin in few of more competitive tournaments with, let's say, slim results. I think I won like 1 game and lost 3 in the first tournament, and then won 2 and lost 3 in the second tournament, and I'm not sure whether I'll be bringing in Weezing in a tournament again, but I am so fond of meta, so probably this isn't the last you'll see of my Weezing.